the absolute most versatile and best chest-supported plate-loaded row ever. So check this out. I've got a bunch of rows. I've had or used most of the good ones, and currently have a lot of them, but I want to show you this cool one that I just did some modifications on. It's just killer. So I'm going to show you this baby right here, the Cybex plate loaded row. So I had this for a couple of years, and I actually sold it. I'm not sure why I sold it, but I just sold it. And I was actually looking for one because I had in my head for like 2 years to do this specific modification. I'm going to show you 10 different movements with this modified Cybex row machine. So this is, I drilled holes, half-inch hole in the bottom of these existing bars. You can see I drilled them at a slight obliquity, so it actually lines up perfect. My hands line up perfect right along the lats. If I drilled it straight, it would be too far off. So I drilled it at an obliquity. For this part I'm going to show you, this is the 14 inches of 2x2 we had welded at the end of what was existing with the existing machine. You can see, drilled a half-inch hole and cut out both sides to allow the medic's handle to rotate freely. You're going to see how awesome this is. This is the other thing I want you to notice. See how I adjusted the tension of the cable so that this is off. So you're going to notice the strength curve of theirs is much better when you have the cable a little more taut. All right, so check this out, guys. I'm going to show you 10 different movements you can now do with this thing. It's so versatile now. So with this, this is the first movement. This is the classic Medics Avenger row movement. I've got the actually Medics Avenger row, the real one, right next to this one to compare it directly. But this gives you the same exact arc of excursion of the Medics row. These Medics handles are money. I wanted to bring the technology of the Medics to this machine. There's no better way to do that with the handles. What makes the Medics beautiful is the handles. So this is the #1 traditional way to use it, just 2 hands. The beauty with this is, versus the Medics, obviously the chest pad adjusts on the Medics, but the seat does not adjust up and down. The Cybex, the seat adjusts up and down. So you can see from this angle, this is the traditional 2-handed Medics row movement. It's absolutely phenomenal. By playing around with this, one of these movements that's my favorite is this right here. I'm kneeling in front of the pad. My knees are against the front of the pad with an extra pillow. I'm grabbing the Medic's handles slightly bent over, and I'm allowing the handles to rotate on the shoulder bolt right along my lats and my back. You absolutely have to try this movement. It feels kind of like a hybrid between a pullover and a bent over row. It's absolutely phenomenal. Much better than just sitting there and doing the traditional row movement. Though the traditional row movement is good. But my hands are on top of the handle. The beauty of the Medic's handles is the handles rotate for you. They don't cause any wrist discomfort, and they allow all the tension to go right through the lats without having to torque your arm or your wrist. I honestly can't tell you how good this feels. You can do the same movement on the actual Avenger row. So this is the next movement, just the traditional overhand row. So one of the reasons I choked up on the cable is to get a better strength curve on these traditional movements. Notice how high the weight horn comes. The beauty of the movement arm is it's curved to begin with, but there's such a beautiful taper as you choke up on the actual cable. The taper is perfect. The way the handles are, the way the cable is routed normally, it gets too hard at the peak contraction. So I hike the seat down and mess with the chest pad. I want, this is just a perfect upper back movement. I'm focusing on upper back. You really feel rear delts, rhomboids, middle traps with this movement. But just using it this way, those people who have this machine, just choking up on the cable alone, you won't believe the difference in tension and in just comfort and feel when you use this particular machine. So just another angle showing you how high the movement arm comes at peak contraction. So the next movement is just using the handles that come with the machine, the neutral handles. What makes this machine cool to begin with is you see how those neutral handles are angled back? It's very much like the Strive selectorized row you see right next to it behind me. It's the same movement path. It's just a perfect movement path. It doesn't have the divergence and convergence of the Strive, but you hike this seat all the way up, pull the chest pad almost all the way out. The stretch and the contraction is amazing. Literally, look at that arc. The arc that those handles are following is perfect to stimulate lumbar and a little bit of iliac lats. All right, so I'm doing the same bent over row / pull over movement. This absolutely feels phenomenal. Those of you guys who have this machine, I want you to try this. Even without the modifications, this feels absolutely phenomenal. It's almost like you're doing a cable pullover. You're just rotating your hips back and forth. All the tension's on the lats the whole time. And the stretch you get with this is just unreal. I put a pad there in front of me, and my knees are actually right in front of the lower pad. All right, so check this out. I absolutely love this movement as well. So where I drilled that 1/2-inch hole through the neutral handles, I put the Medic shoulder bolt in there with the Medic's handles, and I stand back. It's the ultimate one-arm row. Like, it feels absolutely phenomenal. Like, I don't know if I could go back to a regular dumbbell or cable, even the Flex Fitness machine I have next to this. I don't know if it could match the feel, the contraction, the smooth strength curve that this movement right here causes. So see where my lat starts, and I'm able to follow the path of the lat standing up with my arm supporting it using the technology of the Medic's handle. I can't tell you how good that feels. This Medic's handle on the shoulder bolt, you put your thumb on top and you let the handle rotate for you without torquing your wrist or your lower arm. Those of you guys who have used the Medic's machine this way know how amazing it is. So doing the same, it's almost like a Dante row, like the same pull over, bent over row movement hybrid with the Medic's handles in the closer hole. You guys are just gonna have to try this to know what I'm talking about. It's unreal how good this feels. So then the cool thing with this hole I've created in the bottom where through the extra 14 inches of tubing, I put any accessory handle through that existing bolt. One of my favorites is this hog legs handle because it rotates in 3 different planes. I think it's a better handle leading with the prime. And this, so I'm showing you the 1-arm variation and the 2-arm variation sitting. I'm going to show you the view from the back, but because this has more freedom of movement in the medial and lateral plane, as well as the up and down plane, it's a unique feel. So I can keep my arms at a slight angle and bend. Look at how cool this is. You see where those handles end right next to my lats at a slight angle instead of neutral. It's slightly to the side. So just a phenomenal feel with these hog leg handles. So you're getting like a Medic's Avenger row movement with the same leverage with the handle. So this is one of the last movement is doing that same bent over row, pull over hybrid, the Dante Trudel type of row, I think he described it, with the hog leg handles. Just another great movement. So there's so many things you can do with this machine. That's what's awesome. Like, honestly, it's amazing. Let me know what you guys think. Lots of cool more content coming your way. Have an awesome day.